Hi, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and today I'm going to specifically talk about how to deal with attachment-less aligners in Invisalign. And this has been a pretty hot topic lately in terms of what doctors are asking for, what patients are asking for, and I've done a ton of videos about trim lines and attachments. So if you want to learn more about specifically these or even just Invisalign, Smile Direct Club, I actually did a video yesterday about Smile Direct Club and how a lot of opinions, so you can watch that one. That digs a little bit more into that. But what have we learned from the past 6 years, 7 years that direct-to-consumer companies have been out there? Well, we've learned that attachment aligners do work. Attachment-less aligners do work, indeed. I've seen a lot of cases that have turned out just fine. People said it couldn't be done. Guess what? It can be done. It's all about case selection. Of course, not everything can be done. I tend to be a little more conservative. I'll probably say no most of the time. I don't think it can be done. Certain cases I'll say yes. Obviously we're looking at cases that are super easy. I would say more towards mild crowding and spacing, less than 4 or 5 millimeters would be safer. What else? No major extrusions, no major rotations. I'd say less than 20 degrees on rotations. Very minimal extrusions unless they have a major buccal height of contour, something that can be grabbed onto. So it has a lot to do with the morphology and the contour of the tooth. I do believe that some of these direct-to-consumer companies are creating really great software and algorithms. I can't comment on this, but they have collected so much data from their cases that they do a lot of tracking information and final records and final photos and even final scans sometimes, and they kind of know what works and doesn't work. And I think that's something that Invisalign, unless I know something otherwise, I think they're falling short on, because there definitely is a niche that doesn't want attachments on their aligners. And there's a way that you can do it. I just don't think it can be done. Invisalign is probably not the best way to do it, because their material is really, really soft and really, really comfortable, and their trim is really scalloped and low, which all leads to being healthy for the parent. What makes it healthy for the patient and more comfortable for the patient and safer for the patient's roots, gums, and bone does not help. It means you have to have attachments basically, because you need retention, right? So something got to give. So either you're going to be healthy and safe. To be really, I'm not saying it's not healthy and safe. I'm just saying that using Invisalign is probably not the best product, because they only have SmartTrack, and SmartTrack is not the best product for attachment-less aligners. Now, of course, if Invisalign could maybe use their SmartTrack and change their trim line and make it higher, or they could go back to their older material for attachment-less aligners. I think there's a lot of ways around this. I just don't think they offer that right now. So just ideas. I don't work for Align Technology. I don't work for any of these direct-to-consumer aligner companies, but certainly the more successful attachment-less aligners that I've seen have been with aligner companies that have a higher trim line, which would be like your Reveal, your Clear Correct, your Smile Direct Club, and some of these other ones where you can easily say, hey, I want to do attachment-less aligners. So just keep that in mind. Can you do it with Invisalign? I have yet to see a case that's been done well. So that doesn't mean they don't exist. I just haven't seen them. I do have some doctors that are trying to do it. I have not seen their final cases yet. So I don't think it's going to work. It'd have to be a crazy easy case. It would be more like an Express 7 case, but then you'd have to do it as comprehensive and turn it into a 30 case, because if you're going to have attachment-less, it's going to be less predictable. Things are going to move slower. You're going to have to stretch it out longer. So, to me, it's like, okay, why? Why would you want to pay a much bigger lab fee? And in turn, why would a patient want to pay more? Because if as a doctor, if I'm going to promise them attachment-less aligners, I'm not charging cheap. I'm charging a lot, because we're going to have to do a lot of refinements. I know that much, with Invisalign at least. We're going to have to do a lot of refinements, and it might not even be possible. And we might spend a year and a half fooling around doing something that takes 4 times as long with yes, I'm saving some chair time, but we may not get there, and then we may have to refine and put attachments on at the end if we don't get there after 1 or 2 attempts. certainly, if I was going to do attachment-less aligners at all, I would have a very separate contract. And I don't have this as something I have lots of paperwork, as you guys know, and they're free for our concierge and our VIP. members with StraightSmile solutions, or they can be purchased from our store for $20 each if you want to go into our store at StraightSmile Solutions. But that is not something I've created yet. I don't know enough about it yet, you know? But my suggestions are to draft something that basically says, you know, there's no guarantees, there's no promises. We'll do 2 refinements, and after that, your choice is either to discontinue, you know, or to get attachments on if you want to finish the case, or 1 refinement, or you can, something like that, you know, and just to basically say it's less predictable, no guarantees, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to take average 2 to 3 times as long. I mean, if anything, I would charge extra. I would charge more for the case, not less, you know. That's just my thought. But anyways, that's what I would do if you want to try it. I mean, there's definitely patients, but I mean, then again, why? You know, like I would ask the patient why. You know, why do you want to do something that's going to take longer? I can shade match these attachments and you probably won't notice them. I realize sometimes I see movies, you know, if they're in the film industry or they're, you know, super famous or something, and I can see they have attachments on. So I can see that, but also these can be digitally removed. So I just think it's so barely noticeable that I don't see the point of having something be unpredictable and take a really, really long time. But if it's a selling way, you know, if it's a way to give the patients more control, okay, then, you know, you charge a little bit more. You have a specific contract that basically says no guarantees without attachments. You know, I can't get you from the ClinCheck, even though the ClinCheck may say it's possible, it may not be possible. You know what I mean? And of course, case selection is key. I would be very careful at picking cases. And when doctors come to me and say, hey, can I do this without attachments? Most of the time I say no, because it would have to be a crazy, crazy easy case where I'd feel confident saying that they could do it without attachments. And then whatever Invisalign said, if they said it was a 20, it's now a 60. I would triple it. And I'm sure Invisalign does not love that because, I mean, to be really honest, if I were Invisalign, I would create a product like this, but I would charge more for it. You know what I mean? Like I would charge a higher lab fee for it because predictably, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess in theory, people could just not put the attachments on. So I'm sure there's ways around that, but I mean, to me, it seems like Invisalign would lose money on that product because they know it's not going to be predictable. But hey, whoever can create this and really create that algorithm where you can look at a case and have a button, that would be so cool if there was a button that you could, you know, toggle, just like you can toggle buttons for Invisalign to add things or add IPR or whatever and see what it looks like, to see what it would look like without attachments. You know, what can we really, really get without attachments? Because so many times, and this is, you know, there's been times where I've been able to talk to the Invisaligns, you know, they've listened to me and they've actually done stuff I've said, and they've said, hey, we listened to you and we created this. So, hey, Invisalign, I know you listen to my videos, so create this button where we can toggle it. I want to see realistically what you think is possible without attachments. So when patients ask, well, I don't want attachments, I can show them, well, this is the best we can get without attachments, you know? And then they can make an educated decision. And then I feel like it's a predictable ClinCheck as opposed to a BS ClinCheck that I'm showing them. And that maybe I don't have to triple the amount of aligners to be predictable. Anyways, long lecture, but you get the idea. So it's kind of new and uncharted territory, at least in the world of Invisalign, and I think you probably better to go with ClearCorrect, even though I don't really care for that system. But if you really got to do attachmentless, do ClearCorrect, do Reveal, not StraightSmile, too soft, and have a separate contract. You know, come up with your rules, what it's going to look like, and it's basically a no guarantees thing. All right, thank you.